remember the day before they amputated his leg. I was at the house, drowned in homework, and he called me. He's like, hey man, what you doing? I was like, I'm doing homework. He's all, will you come play basketball with me? Because they're going to amputate my leg tomorrow. And I mean, that's always stuck with me so much. To know that I came to essentially play his last basketball game with his 2 legs as a kid, you know? I think the sun went down before he got tired. It was a good day.
When we play Uno, he hides cards.
In his prosthetic. So
he hides cards in his prosthetic.
That, no. That's a lie right there.
Oh, it is not. It's not a lie.
They just mad because I'm always winning.
No.
And they don't like losing.
Do you remember what you said to me right when I got out of the coma?
No.
You said, oh dang, now I don't get her iPod.
I'm sorry, baby. I really want that.
Number one question I get asked is, are you going to die? Yes, I am, and so are you. We all are going to die. It's the circle of life. You see it? It's a circle. It goes round and around. Goes around, coming back around.
Oh my god, okay. I couldn't film actually walking out of the hospital or else that would look really, really, really bad. This is the full plan. You ready? Get in an Uber, go to downtown Los Angeles, go see the Bernie Sanders rally, cheer, and get all the way back to Long Beach before anyone notices I'm gone.
Wait for this to be over, you know, because it's just like, all right, cool, you know, I go back to school, I can start working, you know, I can just go and start exercising again.
I thought that I wouldn't be able to handle it once they told me. And as soon as the words came out of his mouth, you have osteosarcoma, I was like, okay, it's on. I got you. I was just going to be the best patient there was.
I can stand up here and tell you, I am genuinely proud of my life. I am so proud to be alive. I'm not saying that I don't feel pain. I'm not saying that I don't feel sadness and suffering and loneliness, because that's what it means to be a human being. But I'm saying that that pain and that loneliness and that sadness is beautiful. You have to look at all of it, all of the pain, all of the loneliness, all of the beauty, all of the friendship and the family and, you know, and the sickness and the health, and you have to lay it all in front of you and you have to say, okay, this is what I have, it's all wonderful, and what can I make with it?
Hey guys, happy World Cancer Day. I wanted to make a short film video of montages. The reason I want to do this is because when I was going through my own treatment, I relied on YouTube. YouTube was my outlet. It was my way to find people who looked like me, who were my age. You know, it would be 1 a.m. in the morning and I'd go on YouTube and I would try and find people that looked like me. When I was going through my own treatment, I was on the floor with a bunch of babies. So there wasn't necessarily anyone that looked like me. I was 13 to 17 to 18 years old. And so I asked my doctors, is there anyone I can connect with, any support groups? And the support groups were a bunch of 30 and 40-year-olds. So I felt like I was in this in-between, and I wondered, is there anybody that looks like me out there? So YouTube and vlogs became my outlet, my diary, but also how I connected and found others who gave me hope and were #relatable. So I wanted to do something to give back today and to honor those people who helped me so much. And so I created this video and short film to convey their story, because I know how important sharing stories is. And I hope that if you have the time today, take the time to just listen and empathize with the emotional experience of someone going through it, because maybe you'll be able to better support them in the future. Okay.
It was shocking. I'd never seen any young person that actually had cancer before I had it myself.
Never think of teenagers getting cancer, you never think of teenagers going through serious illnesses and things like that. And
There's like 75,000 young adults.
Per year?
Yeah, diagnosed each year between the ages of 18 and 39.
Sometimes I felt embarrassed. I didn't want anyone to see me. I told my parents, can you just tell everyone that I went on a 3-year vacation? Like, just tell them I went to study abroad. I know you do that in college, not in like high school really, but nobody can know. Nobody can know that I have cancer. And then they were telling me, well, what if they want to come see you? Don't you want to see them? I'm like, no, I don't want anyone to see me like this. I didn't want people to think I was dying, like treat me like I'm dying, you know? I didn't want that. Like, it's me. Yeah, I have leukemia, but I didn't want people to treat me like I was dying.
You gotta think, the only thing that we're told when you have an illness is, oh, I'm so sorry. That's it. That's from everybody who you will ever talk to in your entire life is, oh, wow, I'm so sorry. Like, oh, your life must be horrible. Like those exact words over and over and over again. And that gets so cemented in your consciousness.
We'll get together for something like this than for like a funeral, you know what I mean?
Children, adults, they might say they don't stare, but they do. Going out in public was very difficult for me and still is difficult because people stare. That's what they do.
I felt like the whole world was staring at me, and they either stare at you or they look at you and you catch them looking and they purposely won't look at you. Every single aspect has changed. I don't think one thing hasn't changed.
Super nervous. I'm just anxious for the results, really. You know, so I go to school Friday for like the rest of the year and everything like that.
That was actually really one of the hardest things about this year was I lost school, and then with that I lost a lot of friends.
My life ended up now being in a hospital bed.
Many of my friends take weekend trips to the beach. Whenever they get back, I hear all the stories about how they met up with these girls that they didn't know and had a great time, and like that's something that I've never been able to do.
I've been in the hospital for the past 4 weeks, and it's been very, very dreadful.
And I like start crying and stuff because I felt like I was alone, like in a box. I'd feel like shut out from the world completely. So my life is basically just on pause.
Being 18 and facing something like this, it is hard because like you're just starting to like find like the world properly.
Whole year I just didn't feel like myself. Everything just changed.
Said to me amputation, as if I'm gonna go for amputation. Yeah. If I lost my leg now, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I'd just be at home, like thinking, no point doing nothing. You know what I mean? I'd just be at home thinking about everything. Yeah, well, you got to think at the end of the day, it's gonna keep you alive. And do you want to go into hospital 3 times a week for the rest of your life, or do you want to not live anymore? I know what I'd rather do. Horrid, and the side effects are, at times, you know, really like unbearable. But you know, it is worth it, and you do kind of have to do it, even if not for yourself, then for everybody else.
That it has got bigger.
Something we can do. I thought you were going to say that wasn't.
They remove the tumor without leaving tumor behind. There is a risk that I may have to do an amputation. So you ready for it? Yeah, I am. So I'll see you tomorrow.
He basically sat me down and said, listen, you have cancer. The whole room lost all of its color. Everything went silent. As soon as my mom got there, I had to tell her myself that I have cancer.
She had morphine, but that didn't work. And she was screaming, like proper. And then
I'm scared of the dark and monsters and dying.
young person that's been through this and had to deal with facing death, basically, at their young age, they are incredible people. They just get on with it. It sounds so corny, but he's unique.
He wants to talk about the thought that they might not make it through treatment. I think a death on the unit or a death of a friend can enable us to talk about their patient's own mortality in a way that it's about taking the opportunity to bring it up and not stopping because it's a difficult conversation to have. Because even staff don't like talking about it. You know, death is a failure to some, but then I think helping someone achieve a good death is an amazing success and should be celebrated.
The doctor gave me 4 months to a year. People think I'm like, not suicidal, but when I say stuff, it just comes out and I'm such a small little person, they'll be like, what? But basically, I don't have a fear of dying. I mean, I'm not looking forward to it, but I just feel like when it's my time to go, that'll be my time to go. And I have done everything that I pretty much want to do. I have a bucket list if you guys want to see, if you guys want me to make a video on my bucket.
Something happened in the coma. Like something changed. Like she went from just being a great kid with a good spirit, and all of a sudden there was like an old soulness to her that hadn't been there before. There was an acceptance in her where, look, this is where I'm at, you know? I may not make it, or I may make it for 5 years or 10 years or whatever, but I'm totally on the ride, and I'm going to love it and enjoy it as much as I can.
We live in a society that benefits off of us continuously looking for happiness and dreams and goals out here, right? If we say, no, we're not gonna go looking out there for happiness, we are alive, and that is all we need. We are beating the system, right? And we're living lives that we're proud of. We're living lives that make us happy.
I think that...
Let's get the whole like death thing just like out on the table here, right? Like all of us could get hit by a meteor right now, so let's stop thinking about the death part of it because that doesn't matter to me, right? We have no control over it, but what we do have control over is whether or not we are proud of our own lives. I mean, that's something we have complete say over.
That kid has every reason in the world to wake up every morning fucking hating his life. But goddammit, he hates his life the least out of anybody in the world.
My future inspires me to treat every day like it's my last, and that's cliche. But when you live with it, it's not cliche.
By myself and supported by my family that we should, you know what, identify the things that are most important to me and create a bucket list and just do it. I had felt what I think death feels like. I think as a parent, there can be no greater sacrifice than that. The decision to be positive is not one that disregards or belittles the sadness that exists. It is rather a conscious choice to focus on the good and to cultivate happiness and genuine happiness. Happiness is not a limited resource. And when we devote our energy and time to trivial matters and choose to stress over things that ultimately are insignificant, from that point we perpetuate our own sadness and we lose sight of the things that really make us happy and rationalize our way out of doing amazing things.
Gemma heard that his radiotherapy had helped shrink his tumours.
The results say that you are clear.
CoverGirl heard your story and they want to make you an honorary CoverGirl. So you are now... And we also, CoverGirl wants to give you something to help... Oh my God!
I put on a calendar to celebrate being alive. It's something that people take for granted, and I think people need to celebrate their lives more.
You won't want me to hold your hand, honestly. You'll need stitches. So you just have to do that.
I don't mind if you want me
You
to squeeze
can.
my hand, you can.
I was diagnosed 6 years ago. My mom's friend Tammy, she also is a cancer survivor. She brought me over to her house so we can like bond and talk about stuff.
Right.
And basically she showed me her makeup, and ever since I was like fascinated with the colors and the things. And
They like one of the only people that understand exactly what we're going through.
And stuff is that I met these great kids who, you now have you have so much in common with them.
It's like a community. Like, these people kind of become your family.
We're here for you. We're friends, and we're supporting you because we know what you're going through.
Whether it is the same exact diagnosis or just a little off, they are the only ones that understand the exhaustion and the cravings and the medications and the nausea.
Like things that society tends to forget and take for granted, I've learned.
What do we take for granted?
Walking, going to the toilet by yourself, getting in and out of bed, being able to eat what you want when you want without it coming back up again. Like, I can't control myself.
Better, yeah? In control, yeah?
I want to do things, but I just physically can't. I can't move and things like that. I just don't like being not in control. That's horrible. That's the hardest part, not being able to control my body.
Try and get your whole foot on the...
Definitely one of the hardest parts of something like this happening is you have no control.
And now I'm much happier where I am because I'm much more independent and not relying on everyone else.
Well, I went from being an independent 14-year-old and to having to have to ask my mom just to get me a glass of water.
And one day I was doing the same spiel and a chunk of hair came out. I was bald and I just pictured the day that I would have hair again, and it really gave me hope and pushed me to keep on going.
Like 25 pounds.
Probably could count how many times I've looked in the mirror on like 2 hands. Like truly looked. Of course I've glanced, but I don't like looking in the mirror because I've lost 50 pounds. I mean, I have no hair, I have no eyebrows, I have no eyelash.
It feels like I've never exercised in my life. It feels like my knees are going backward, it's really weird,
It does bring your energy down, but once 2-3 days later after chemotherapy, for me, I'm back up.
I don't remember the last time I felt like energy, like full energy.
It's the biggest thing that impacts you is the fatigue, because you really just get so exhausted, and you never knew there was that level of exhaustion of just not being able to go to the bathroom and even not having the energy to turn over in bed.
I have to know everything that's going on with my body and what's going into it and how I'm taking care of it and who's doing what to it. Like, it's the only way that I can be okay with this life is if I'm in control of what's going on to my body, That was when I felt really independent, was when I was in the ocean.
Killy, then potentially some of the treatments that we give.
Remove Rebecca's tumour and swap her knee with a metal replacement.
Go on, pull it up, come on. Pull up. Oh, my muscles are really hurting. Oh, I'd love a day without pain. Just one day. I'd love an hour. Because even when I'm having a good day, I'm not ever without pain. I always hurt somewhere. It's all the side effects of the drugs and things.
But you have that bucket next to you where you're about to vomit, and it's just like, yeah.
The nausea, I can't explain it. Like, it just feels nasty inside my body. Like, every time I want to throw up, but I can't eat because I have a feeling that I might throw up.
I think all kinds of irrational thoughts about what you're going to do and what's going to happen. It's a testament to the human spirit that you can just be utterly down and out
And then just time alone can just snap you out of it. I think I'm naturally a positive person, quite upbeat, and like being kind of miserable about stuff isn't who I am. It's just kind of how I'm forced to be just by ridiculous circumstances.
Sometimes you just think, oh, why's it happened to me? What have I done? And why do I have to have it like now? And things like that. But it only lasts for a few minutes, and then you think, well, getting on with it. Get it sorted, get it done this time. Next year I'll be running around and be able to go out dancing again.
I've been having a lot of anxiety from just, I guess, everything from all the medicines. It's adding up, and like a little bit of depression from being in the hospital. Or now I don't even think it's from being in the hospital. I think it's more just like mentally. I can't really explain it, and I don't want to explain it because I don't want it to make it sound like something it's not. But basically, I've just been like not Talia, like you know, just like really down and very anxious about everything, very moody, very just on my toes about everything. And what originally brought me in the hospital was pain.
How do you stay so positive?
When people ask me that, I'm just, what do you want me to do? Be depressed? I mean, but a little fishy told me, just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
People are ready to talk a bit more at night time. Night time's always terrible, isn't it? You lie in bed and all your mind whizzes, and when you can't sleep and all your thoughts whiz through your head and your imagination runs wild. And often like the big questions, like the why me's and the what ifs and the am I dying, am I going to die, am I going to get better, those kind of questions. I think you've always just got to be honest with them. I think if they ask you a direct question like, am I going to die, you have to check that they want to know the answer. Lots of tears at night time. When people can't sleep, lots of cups of tea, because a cup of tea solves everything. Doesn't it? Not really.
He and Gemma are on the way to the hospital to find out the results of a scan on his lungs. Mum and Dad have come too.
Looking forward my 4 more weeks of this hell. And then, fingers crossed, it'll be over. I'm scared. It's like that. It's like going to a theme park. I don't want to go on this ride again, no. Definitely not want to go on this ride again.
I don't mind if you want me
You
to
can.
squeeze my hand, you can.
And nothing was going to get the better of her. Strong and brave, courageous.
I still believe I can totally beat this. Like, people get their sight back from just believing and telling themselves, I can get my sight back. There's this one chick who had, like, terminal cancer, and she healed herself just by saying, I don't have cancer, I am healthy, and that's just what I'm gonna do. Like, I don't really care what people say.
That, you know, this may be a part of your life right now, but this doesn't have to be your entire life.
It's not fun, but it does get better. You get more used to it and you adapt to it. You find things you can do, and then all of a sudden it's like you're at the end.
The heart that I gave, the dreams that I made.
My life. I think she felt having a shorter life, she wanted to do more with it.
Like, what if I really don't have anything that's going to help people?
A phone and a laptop, and she was able to spread the word throughout the whole entire world with just those tools.
Cancer doesn't stand a chance against Talia because Talia, she overall won. She won this battle because her name and her footprints and handprints are left all over this world. And that's what she really wanted to accomplish.
Really, from the age of 13 to 18, just right now, I have I've been in a coma and almost died. Like broken a 1% chance of surviving. Started a foundation. Started a whole YouTube channel that went viral. And
he can be like this. It's like, what can you do? Like, what can you really do in your life?
That is when I'm like in bed at night. If my mind starts like running, sometimes I'll think about it, but then it'll just like hit me his whole message, like just take what you have and live it to the fullest.
But the quality of your life is really dependent upon how you react to those problems. And so my dream is to reach as many people as possible and to laugh with them and to teach as many people the way that I live my life.
My mission in life is to put a smile on someone's face and, possibly save a life here and there.
I've always loved the idea of like bringing life into places that that people don't think life really exists. And for me, the hospital has always been a great representation of that because to me, it's this beautiful, magical, wonderful, like happy place where I get healed and all my friends are at, and like the rest of the world, it's like living hell. This is the ventilation bags and stuff that, like you need in a hospital. But of course, I want my room to look nice. Here you have my piano for when I want to jam out and annoy all the nurses. I got my twinkle lights and my beautiful planets on the wall here.
My knee is, and then it's been replaced. So I'm having a whole new knee and femur made out of titanium fitted in. And then I'll be able to walk properly again and be able to wear my high heels eventually and go out dancing. It'll be fun.
It's suddenly brought home to you that you can't take everything for granted.
Some of my favorite moments in my entire life have been when I was in the hospital. And my dad and I are singing and I'm scarfing down Indian food and I'm looking at the sunset and it's like, God, it's wonderful. It's not wonderful like in spite of it being a hospital room. It's wonderful and it's a hospital room. Like there is life everywhere.
Being able to go to the shops, being going out into town, being able to have a proper relationship with your boyfriend, not just lying in bed and falling asleep.
Just be thankful that, you're alive, because there are a lot of days where you just want to give up and you want to be done.
I will love my family always. I would never lose sight of what they did for me during this time and for what this time and this illness has brought to our family.
The greatest feeling in the world is to have your family bring you up when you don't feel good.
Yeah, it makes me feel that I'm not alone, that I have people that can support me and I could support them.
My family and the support system that they offer, they're all so much there for me. And from a very young age, my parents taught me that, yeah, your life is going to be different. You're not going to have it as easy as some other people might, but life is what you make of it, and you can be happy or you can be sad.
That's what mums do with their children. When their children are in need, then you're there in whatever ways needed. It's just being a mum. She said that she couldn't cope if I wasn't there. She does need a lot of help and support. There is no way in this world that I could just pop in and see her for a couple of hours every night and go home again. I just couldn't do it, and I think any mum with any child.
Watching him go through chemo and being completely powerless, and the last round of the chemo, he said, "Mom, I don't want to do it." And I said, "Okay, we won't do it."
You have to be strong for Rebecca and just accept that that's what's happening, and you just have to get on.
biggest thing Claire has taught me is stay in the moment. She sees me worry about things. She sees me talk to the doctors and it gets heavy and I get scared. She's like, right this minute, it's awesome. We're here together. Like, where are you? Like, you know, she helps me bring my head back to right this second. I'm like, oh, you're right. You know, we haven't gotten there yet.
It's kind of hard to even describe, man. You know, I feel really blessed. I've had the most remarkable experience of fatherhood that anybody could ever imagine. We've had like these sublime moments, and I've seen Claire grow into this incredibly beautiful, generous woman.
Just waking up in recovery, operation's all finished. Just breathe away and Mum's by your side.
I'm here, baby girl.
Well done.
I have no idea how I'm gonna do anything.
2 years she might not be here. Stuff like that.
You must take life a step at a time, a day at a time, because you never know what's round the corner. This will finish and then we'll go on to the next bit.
We can't live in tomorrow. We have to live today.
You understand that everybody is strong in their own way. You can do anything you put your mind to, set your goals, you'll reach them. You know, keep your head up, your arms moving.
Best advice is to just take every day as it is.
After I was done, I'm like, you know what, I can conquer anything I want. And basically now I'm trying to do that.
I still believe I can totally beat this. Like, people get their sight back from just believing and telling themselves, I can get my sight back. There's this one chick who had like terminal cancer and she healed herself just by saying, I don't have cancer, I am healthy. And that's just what I'm gonna do. Like, I don't really care what people say.
He keeps pushing me to be positive about it. That's where most of my positivity comes from Guy.
It's so good here.
The incredible gift of having people in my life who genuinely love me, that's given me so much mental stability and strength.
I think she's got angels all around her.
You've got to get the good stuff out of bad situations like this, and the one good thing is that we have a really good relationship between us both. It's really good. Talk about everything and anything. It's really good. It's definitely had a massive effect on our relationship. It's probably kind of fast-forwarded it about 5 years.
I think of lungs. She's just like bending over and I just continue what I'm saying except with little pauses when I think her coughing is too loud. Because like other people give me weird looks like she's dying over here. Yeah, and I'm just I remember she does it all the time. We joke about her dying all the time because we Except can't we- actually handle the fact The actual- that yeah, you are- exactly. Yeah, it's making light of the situation.
I remember there was this one kid who was like really small and we was getting treatment and I would start playing with him and he would start bouncing on his bed up and down while getting, you know, chemo. So for me to see a kid at that age be able to be so happy and jump up on the bed, I started jumping on my bed and the nurses started getting mad at me instead of this kid. Basically, I just became a clown at the hospital. I made sure I was cracking jokes with the nurses, with the doctors. I tried to make the environment very friendly and like positive. And it was kind of, you know, fun at times. I think laughing and smiling is the fastest way to get through something like this.
Kind of being told that I'm not allowed to have a tattoo now.
I'll tell you what, I'll get some felt tip pens and I'll draw one on you and we'll take a photograph of it.
Yeah, we can pretend that it's real.
Sounds like a plan.
Deal with my life and my situation without humor, I would be in a very different place. I've heard before that humor is a coping mechanism, and it's kind of said in like a negative connotation, like, oh, you're just coping. But fuck it, yeah, it's a coping mechanism. Who cares? There are parts of everyone's life that truly just blow, and it's about how you react to that, which defines the quality of your life. I don't use humor to avoid thinking about the bad stuff in life. I use it to make the bad stuff less bad. Take time to laugh at yourself and at your problems and at the craziness of the world around you. You're gonna have a better time. And I think when it comes down to it, life is about having a good time, so do that.
You won't want me to hold your hand, honestly. You'll need stitches. So you just have to do that.
One piece of advice, sit back and enjoy the ride. Have lots of laugh and love.
I think she just needs to share the message of what it's like to be blessed with life. She's like the kid that sings it from the rooftop.
She would hope that whatever she said or whatever she'd done would help somebody somewhere, because that's what she wanted.
It would be amazing if I could use that gratitude and that reference point and that perspective still in this life. And if by some chance the world does not feel it is necessary to terminate my life to get that message across, I would be greatly appreciated.